Hey, in this video I'm going to talk about 3 terrible mistakes you need to avoid as a business analyst. Me personally, I've also made these mistakes and they're really key to understand and to avoid. Furthermore than just telling you these mistakes, I want to give you scenario examples where I've been so you can also avoid them, and give you also action items you could use in such a scenario to avoid the mistake on your own. And before we start, I want to say, please make sure to watch this video until the end, because especially the third mistake I want to mention is super critical for your career and happens all the time. Let's get started right away. I have a couple of notes here. And the very first mistake I want to mention is not asking although you didn't understand. We all know the scenario. There's something going on, some explanations, and you didn't get it, right? You just didn't get it. And this could be because you're not a long time on the project, not really involved or whatever. And often people, including myself, are shy or too shy to ask. Or they don't want to look stupid in front of the boss, in front of the colleagues, or even in front of the friends, right? And so they're not asking or try to figure it out on their own. The problem with this is, I'm not talking about very trivial things. I'm talking about key concepts. So let's say there's a presentation and you don't get the key concept of this feature, whatever. The problem is later maybe you get asked a couple of other questions, or your boss is asking you to take over something. And if you didn't really get anything about this can get very hard. Okay, so that's the problem with this one. But the reality is, only the person who is not asking is the person who is stupid in the end, right? So you're not stupid in asking questions, you're stupid in not asking them. So now let me give you a couple of examples when I find myself in such a scenario, what I'm saying. So what I'm saying, for example, is, excuse me, but could you rephrase that? I'm not sure if I got that correctly. With this sentence, you're kind of like being very polite, just the other person to rephrase whatever he or she was saying. Another example of what I'm saying is, okay, based on what you just said, what would you suggest me to write down right now? Right, so asking the other person what the note should look like. And so they repeat themselves again, and then you have the chance to understand even better. Or my favorite is, when I don't understand it completely, but just a bit, then I'm saying, am I correct that? Then I'm entering a couple of pieces of information, and the other person who knows it better will complete it then, right? So am I correct that XYZ? And then the person says yes, but, and gives some more details to this, so you understand even more. Another tip here is to avoid this mistake is, if you don't want to ask all the questions to one person, I totally understand. You don't want to block people for 2 hours straight. You can split these things. So let's say share the pain. When I say share the pain, I mean ask 4 colleagues for 30 minutes instead of 1 colleague for 2 hours, right? This makes more sense. You're spreading the pain and no one could ever think you are a fool because you have so many questions. All right, this was mistake number 1. Now let's go to mistake number 2. And this one is avoiding sync points or having only few sync points. So when I say a sync point is, you have a couple of stakeholders which you're updating frequently on anything in the project or on a feature. And if these sync points are too far away from each other, let's say every month 1 sync point, in this 1 month a lot could happen and the feature could evolve drastically, right? So the problem here is, your stakeholder has an expectation how the solution will go or the evolvement will go. And if you have so much time in between, things can change drastically. So the expectations of your stakeholder could not be met or could even be in the opposite direction, right? That's the main problem with having too little sync points with your stakeholders. And you want to avoid this, right? I also, as a business analyst in my starting phase, sometimes a lot of time passed when I last updated my line manager or stakeholders, and maybe the solution design drastically changed over time, and I felt a bit of a kind of a weird feeling, like fear to tell the stakeholder the drastic changes, because I knew, oh, they wouldn't expect this, and maybe they would raise a lot of other questions, right? Because I haven't updated them beforehand. And that's the whole concept of this mistake. It's all about managing the expectations. When I say having more sync points, I don't really mean you have to call them or whatever. It also helps just putting stakeholders on CC with your mails, right? If you're updating, just put them on CC so they know what's going on. And also, if you have no update for a feature, saying no update is also an update. If you don't tell the stakeholder that there's no update, they may be expecting progress over time, and that's also an issue. So you want to make sure to update there too. And always, if something is coming up, maybe any issue or any risk, also let your stakeholders know so they can be on the same side like you, managing their expectations. All right, after clarifying the second mistake, let me now go to the last and the third terrible mistake business analysts do frequently, especially in their beginning year. And this one is never challenging things. Let me explain this one. Sometimes we are going into a project or whatever, and the going in position very often is seen as the right way, the correct way. But who ensures that no one did a mistake before? So let's say another business analyst is analyzing a feature, is writing the requirements, and this business analyst is leaving the company and you are taking over now, and you are basically working on top of the work the other BA did beforehand. And this was exactly the scenario I was in, right? So another BA created a solution design for software, and I just took it as granted or as correct or as already confirmed, approved, whatever. But then I was challenging this solution. I was thinking, okay, this solution is really complex to understand. There's so many things involved, really high effort. And then I was asking, why are we solving it this way and not another way? And the problem here was no one really could answer this question to me very easily. So no one really knew why we are doing the complex way. But in my head, there was an easy way existing. So what I did now is, after challenging this, I went to the developers, talked with them about the solution I had in my mind, and they confirmed me this would also be a valid solution, meaning we could achieve the goal with so much less effort. And after confirming with the developers, I talked to the stakeholders and proposed the other solution design, which is just so much less effort and compared with the current situation. And based on the value this solution provides, stakeholders also decided to take the new solution. So with challenging the status quo, with challenging the previous work, we were able to save a severe amount of money, right? So challenging things is really key. And the mistake to avoid is to not challenge things. These were 3 terrible mistakes I want you to avoid. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.